Alright guys, so Breaking Bad, the final half of the series is here, and oh my god, I love this show. Breaking Bad, Season 5B. Alright, so I say 5B because, quite literally, it's the second half of the season that they delayed it for a while, and when the series ended on 5A originally to delay for another year, so they could split it into two parts and pull a Harry Potter or The Hobbit, I was just sitting there going, no! And just so you know, guys, this will have spoilers in it, because you just gotta talk spoilers when you're talking about something like this. There will be spoilers. So if you have not seen Breaking Bad yet, go watch Breaking Bad. If you have not seen this episode yet, find a way to see this episode. Just in general. Alright, so now that you guys have been warned, here we go. 5A left off with Hank sitting on the crapper, trying to take a dump, like most men would do. And he decides, I need reading material, like most men would do. And he discovers that Walter White is the Heisenberg. So he's like, oh crap. Ah, the irony. As we progress, now they leave it off with that, and you're like, no! So now we go into 5B, so we're finally here, and this episode is awesome. I loved it. I don't know about you guys, but I love this episode. Crazy intense. We start off 6 months into the future, and Walter White, he's all like homeless looking, and he just like is casually walking into his house, which is now abandoned. Why is it abandoned? And this video will have speculation in it, by the way. So I'm personally thinking that everything went down. Shit went down at the White home, and he had to hightail it, and whatever happened there, it had to be closed off because nobody's living there. But when he goes in there, spray painted on the wall, Heisenberg. That reveal of just the slow looking at all that. And he grabs the ricin. Why does Walter White need the ricin? My theory is that, well, clearly, he's got to kill somebody. And he's got an M60 machine gun in the trunk. Is Heisenberg going to go all Rambo on these people? I don't know. We killed Gus. Gustavo is done because then he could say my name. And, he said it all awesome, and we're all like, Heisenberg. And it's just so great. This show, the way it builds tension is great. So that was just the first, maybe 5 minutes. So now we cut back to present time, where Hank just said, wow, I am, top DEA meth maker hunting super meth hunter, and my brother-in-law that I spend day in and day out with is the world's greatest meth cook, Kingpin. Wow, it took me 2 years to figure that out. I have skill. Walter White, originally when the show started, was kind of a pansy, and now he's the Heisenberg. So they leave. He doesn't tell him right away, and I love that. I love that they don't reveal right away that Hank knows, in the sense that he doesn't tell Walter. He's just like, oh, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to go home. So then he starts doing his research to make sure, which shows that he really cares about Walter White. And I love that because it shows the connection of the family, but at the same time he's suspicious. And Walter slowly grows suspicious. And then, lo and behold, girl that I always forget the name of shows up, who was in 5A, who was a worrywart and was helping with the meth, and saying, people are getting pissed off. Walter, people are getting pissed off, the quality's lowering, and he's like, I am out of this business. It's like, he's trying to quit, he's trying to leave it. His family has a crap ton of money, and he's trying to leave it all behind. And I love that. I loved every piece of that, because it shows that he's trying to start a normal life, but there's still all this going on around him, because killing Gus ultimately caused so much relevance amongst the drug community that he really can't leave, but he's trying anyway, and he's doing it for his wife. And ultimately that's how the show started. So it's like he's trying to get back on the good path, but he's far gone villain at this point. I mean, he lies to Jesse. Why do you think he lied to Jesse? You can comment and tell me, but here's my theory. He lied to Jesse because he feels the need that if Jesse snaps and goes all AWOL and wants to just tear crap up and get revenge on Walter for killing Mike, because Jesse and Mike got close connections. I think Walter is saying, I need this because he is afraid himself that he is going to have to kill Jesse. I need you to trust me. I didn't kill Mike, which we all know he did, which shows he's a dick. I mean, he poisons a child. He sits there and kills, like, Jesse's new best friend, basically. And it just, you really see that Walter White is gone. He is Heisenberg now. He is the villain. And Jesse is kind of now almost the neutral. He's so shocked. He was just a punk high schooler or post-high schooler when the show ended. So he's all, I just don't want to deal with this. I just wanted to make meth, make a quick couple bucks, buy some 7-Eleven, and we're good. No, not with Walter White. Everything has to hit the fan. And I love that they show that he doesn't want to be doing that either, but it's gotten to him more, and it's almost like frightening to him how Walter is so far gone. Hank basically says, yep, I'm really stupid about the whole detectivating thing on finding the Heisenberg. So that ultimately leads to one of the coolest conclusions to an episode ever. And Walter, as you know, because all of you I'm hoping have already seen it, Walter walks up to Hank because he finds out that he's been tracking him. And he's like, oh hey, by the way, I found this. Hank starts freaking out because he realizes that he now knows that he's on to Walter. And he just closes the garage door, and as the garage door is closing, this was my face. Because you don't know what's going to happen. He doesn't want anyone to see. Why doesn't he want anyone to see? And then he just decks him, and he trades a few punches, but ultimately Walter's like, no, I'm not doing this. And he's smashing him up against the wall, and Walter is like, I am not making meth. And he's promising that he isn't, which technically he's not. But in reality, we all know that he's BSing because he used to do it. And Hank is basically like, I figured out your whole life story these past couple years. You're busted. And he says that I want to bury you under the jail. And it's just like, whoa, this is getting tense. And Walter's like, I'm not making anything. And he's like, I don't know you anymore. And then Walter ends the episode with saying one of the most chilling lines to Hank, his brother-in-law, and says that if you don't know me, then you probably should tread lightly. And I'm just like, and then it ends and you're like, no, don't end, please don't end. And he looks over and just, that's it, it's over. And then I just was with my girlfriend and my dad watching the episode, and we were all just like, that was awesome. Oh my God, this is how you kick off that last 8 episodes. You kick it off and you hit hard. And it's not necessarily that there was a bunch of fast pacing, it's just everything. The tension. It's like, imagine you're squeezing every muscle in your body and you are just sitting there watching everything happen. That is the level of tension they are holding this. Which makes you think, if this is just kind of like settling you into things, then holy crap, where is it going to go? That's where my speculation begins. I think Walter White is going to be sitting there and have to decide he's got to get back into it because people are getting pissed off. As Girl said, she's so forgettable, but that's not the point. They're pissing a lot of people off. Gus is dead. Mike is dead. Mike's people are relatively gone. So who's being pissed off? Is it their competition? And if that's the case, how many? And why is he grabbing the ricin? You guys should all post. I want to discuss this with you guys. I personally think that he's getting the ricin to kill some bigger fish that are unaware of him, maybe, to kind of like tie up loose ends. But then the M60, I think that's because he knows people are coming for him and he wants to be ready. And the big kicker that maybe is symbolic, that Walter White says to Hank, is that cancer came back. If you sent me to jail 6 months, I'm dead anyway. And I sat there and said, because the flash forwards are 6 months in the future and he's got his hair back and everything. Is his cancer gone? Is the cancer gone? And so is that symbolism for he's going to die? Is Walter going to kill himself, or is he going to be killed by somebody? Maybe he's even fighting Jesse and then something else happens and he ultimately has to give himself up. What if Walter is taking that M60 to buy somebody time? Jesse's done snapping, everybody. He is sitting there and he's ready to go, and he has decided, he's pieced it together like everybody else has, and he is ready and he is on a warpath for Walt, and that's why Walt's hiding. So I honestly think that we are going to have this clash of titans and have Walter White and Jesse stand off, and then ultimately maybe there's a bigger threat or maybe something else, but I really think that Walter White is going to die. I mean, they keep alluding to it. I think he's going to die, people. I don't want him to because he's the coolest villain ever, but I don't want him to die. But I feel like it's almost like that's the completion of everything. And maybe Jesse takes over again. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Please, guys, I insist. Post your speculations. I want to talk about it with you. That's why I'm doing these. I'm doing one for every single episode. So please, I insist. Post, let's talk about it. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can keep talking about this every week as the videos come out. And alright, I will see you guys soon.